Yo, what to do, wealth champions? Listen, today's episode 12 tax saving tips for salaried employees. What we got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, is that taxes are our largest expense. And if you don't find a way to legally, ethically, and morally cut this expense, then you're going to continue to fall further and further behind financially. So stick around. If you watch to the end of this show, you're not only going to learn these 12 tips to cut your taxes, you're also going to learn what you could do with that money to start building multi-generational wealth. So do me a favor, as you guys are coming into the room, go ahead, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand for that free business shout out. And we're going to go ahead and get this show what we call crack-a-lackin' here in the St. Louis area. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur from MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. And if you guys have not already checked out the Monetize My Life Academy Mastermind, where we literally help you scale, grow, take your business digital, then you want to check out MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. We're having tremendous breakthroughs. People are really starting to understand how to leverage sales systems, how to use the internet, how to use social media to grow and scale your business. If you got aspirations of doing any of those things, then you need to check out MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com. Super excited about today's episode, man, because most of us are here. You guys follow my show because I'm always talking about building generational wealth. I'm always talking about creating the legacy. I'm always talking about how you can make sure that you get your finances all the way in order. And one of the things that we neglect almost 99.999% of the time that's really having the biggest impact on our finances is taxes, right? And I know we came through school systems who do not really teach how the tax game is played, how the tax code actually works, none of that stuff. So we're going to break it all down to you today, but I got to give you my disclaimer. I am not a CPA, enrolled agent, tax professional. I'm just an entrepreneur who understands that if you're going to win in this economy, you have to understand the rules of this economy, and they start with the tax code, ladies and gentlemen. So Anthony Munoz, good morning, my friend. Do me a favor, guys. If you have not already smashed that share button, you want to do that now. There are lots and lots of people who need this information this morning. Hardworking individuals who are, getting paid hourly or on salary, and they are looking for solutions. So if you're going to help these folks out, the easiest way to do that is just to smash that share button. So I'm going to smash the share button myself because I forgot to do that. And boom, share it to my timeline. Now, let's talk about a couple quick announcements before we get into the meat of today's show. So announcements today for the Cortez Hustle Show. Ladies of Finance Week is going down. Listen, if you are a lady and you've been struggling with your finances and you want to connect with a group of ladies who are doing it and doing it well, then you want to check out the Ladies of Finances. Stay tuned to the shows this week because I'm going to be sharing the links to log in and listen to these powerful, dynamic women share what they've stumbled upon to build not only generational wealth for their future, but they're also making a ton of money as financial educators and teaching people how to get their finances in order. Lakeisha, hello, I see you out of Las Vegas, right? So also, if you are a single mother and you are looking for a financial game plan and you're willing to invest $100 a month to really get around some millionaires that can teach you all of the game, then I want you to comment single mom, or I want you to inbox me because my financial education franchise is doing really, really well. And I want to bless a couple single moms this week. Some of you guys know I'm fourth born of 6 children raised by a single mom on welfare, struggled financially. And I've got a partner that wants to really, really connect with single moms who follow the show. They understand that, hey, I need to be more financially literate. I need to become more aware financially. I just need some help, right? But you got to be willing to invest in yourself. And I know it's not easy as a single mom to pull money from your household and invest in a financial education isn't the easiest thing to do. How's it never? If you want to check out what we're doing and how we could potentially help you go to the next level financially, then let us know, because my partner and I want to really bless a few single moms. Also, I'm looking for some dynamic speakers. Every year on the Cortez Hustle Show for Black History, we do something called Phenomenal Female Entrepreneurs. That's a week of Black women who are crushing it in the area of entrepreneurship. And we feature them for a week. Usually we have 2 guests per episode. So I'm looking for 10 dynamic sisters who are crushing it in business and willing to share some of their secrets as to how they are able to make it happen. And then we follow that up with a week of the brothers doing the same thing. And my brother's keeper speaker series, where it's all about brothers who are crushing it in the area of business and or finance, willing to share with folks. So if you know folks that I should be reaching out to include in this Black History Month's weekly specials, then all you got to do is let me know. Finally, if you want to sponsor the show, if you got product services and you're thinking about sponsoring the show, all you got to do is comment sponsorship or inbox me or send an email to hcortez@thorntononlinemarketing.com to learn how to sponsor the show. I've got some great introductory packages as I'm starting this whole journey and scaling the show. And then if you turn me on to someone who wants to sponsor the show, I actually have a 10% finder's fee for you. So we like to start the Cortez Hustle Show out with a quote. And the quote of the day here on the Cortez Hustle Show is as follows: change does not always equal improvement, but you cannot improve without change. That's Dr. Miles Monroe. Change does not always equal improvement, but you cannot improve without change, right? He gave the example of someone who, picked up a massive amount of weight. They changed, but did that change equal improvement, right? But in order for them to improve their health, they absolutely have to change. Some of us are running from change. Ask me how I know, because I used to be that guy, right? Didn't want anything to stay change, want everything to stay the same. Yet at the same time, I expected bigger and bolder results, and I was not willing to take bigger and bolder actions to change. So remember that there's changes always going on in your life. They don't necessarily equal positive or positivity, but you do have to change if you want to improve in your life. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't hesitate to transform and run from change, because change is a necessary thing. So that was the quote of the day on the Cortez Hustle Show. You guys know that we also have 1 minute motivation coming up. We also have the question of the day coming up here shortly. But I want to share with you guys this article where I'm going to be drawing these tips from today, and it's on Nerd Wallet. So let me just share the link, because as you guys know, when we do these lists, we don't always read every single thing on these posts. And a lot of times these articles have links to other resources for you. So I always like to give you access to the source article, and that is from Nerd Wallet this morning. So what is the question of the day? Question of the day: what makes you feel most fulfilled? Right? If you answer the question of the day, you get entered into a drawing to win a free vacation All you got to do is put QOTD before your answer. That lets me know you're responding to the question of the day. And we can then grab all of your names, put it in a drawing. And we do that drawing right here live on the Cortez Hustle Show, noon Wednesdays. And that is Central Time because I am, of course, here in St. Louis. So noon Central on Wednesdays, we do the drawing for the free vacation. One of our YouTube listeners won the free vacation last week and chose a voucher for Miami. So answer the question of the day, QOTD. What makes you feel most fulfilled? And you guys know that I'm going to give my answer towards the end of the show. And I got a couple of things that make me really feel fulfilled. And I want to share those with you guys. So now let's jump into these 12 tips, right? If you have not figured out that Uncle Sam is eating away your paycheck and it causes you, because of what he takes, to then go out and borrow to make up that difference. Now you lost part of your check to Uncle Sam. Now you're losing a part of it to the banks and the interest that you're paying. Man, this whole thing, man, if you don't understand how this economy works and runs, you can find yourself spinning your wheels trying to get ahead, right? You got to understand that taxes, there's two tax systems in this country. There's a tax system for working Americans, and then there's a tax system for business owners, landowners, and investors, right? I mean, that's just what it is. I didn't make the rules, right? And what most working Americans don't understand is that because you are not doing business in this country, meaning you went to a job and that job was already there for you. You went to a job and the building that you work in was already there. You went to a job and the desk was already there. The supplies that you needed to do that job were already there, right? So what did you bring to the table other than your labor? When you make money with labor, and that's the only way you make money, you are in the tax code where you are taxed the absolute most, point blank and period, right? But we're going to talk about some ways. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you the number one way to lower your taxes. But let's see what Nerd Wallet has to say about these 10 or these 12 strategies or tips for salaried or working Americans to legally lower their taxes. I'll share my screen so y'all see that this is actually coming from the article and not from your boy. Because as I said in my disclaimer, I am not a tax professional. I'm just an entrepreneur who understands my need to understand the tax game, right? All right, so number 12, it says, from a tax perspective, there's a huge difference between doing something on the 31st and doing it a day later. If you know an upcoming expense is going to be tax deductible, think about whether you could pay for this for it this year rather than next year. Making January's mortgage payment in December, for example, could give you an extra month's worth of mortgage interest to deduct this year. Similarly, if you know you're near the threshold of the medical expense deduction, moving the root canal up might make the pain more bearable if the cost suddenly becomes tax deductible too. Wow. So when you understand how the tax code works, then you know that there is a calendar year and we are taxed from January 1 to December 31. So anything that is tax deductible, if you pay for it before December 31, then you get that tax deduction in that calendar year. So even if you paid your mortgage payment early for January, it could be tax deductible in that calendar year. So that's tip number 12. And we're counting down from 12 to 1. And then on top of that, I'm going to give you the number one way that you could legally, ethically, and morally lower your taxes. So number 12 was timing, right? Get the timing right. Number 11, right? Number 11, let's see. Sell those dogs weighing down your portfolio. Knowing you're getting a tax deduction might make it a little easier to unload some of those bad stock picks that have been weighing down your portfolio. You can deduct losses on stock sales, which can offset any taxable capital gains you might have. The limit on that offset is $3,000 or $1,500 for married couples filing separately. One other note, never let tax avoidance become a substitute for wise investing. Sell a stock only if it truly doesn't work for your portfolio anymore. Don't do it just to get the tax break. If you decide to buy back your stock within 30 days, the IRS can take back your deduction. And you see how it says how it works? That link, this is why I give you the actual link to the article, because you can follow these other links, right? And really, really educate yourself, right? Educate yourself. That's the key. Hey guys, remember, if you have not already smashed the show, please do so. Smash that share button and let other people know who are working, especially high income earners. They really need to understand how the tax code is affecting them, right? Number 10, keep a file of your medical expenses. If you've been in the hospital or had other costly medical or dental care, keep those receipts. In general, you can deduct qualified medical expenses that are more than 7.5 of your adjusted gross income for that tax year. So, for example, if your adjusted gross income is $40,000, anything beyond the first $3,000 of your medical bills, which is 7.5%, could be deductible. If you range up $10,000 in medical bills, $7,000 of it is deductible in this example. So we're talking about hardworking Americans losing the amount of money that we lose to Uncle Sam simply because we do not know the tax laws, guys. There are two tax laws, right? And again, I am not a tax professional. I'm going to keep saying that because I don't want somebody to go and report me saying, hey, this guy is giving tax advice. No, that's not what this is, man. I want you guys to understand there's two tax codes. There's one for working Americans. Believe it or not, I know we go to work and we work hard. Believe it or not, the way this system looks at you as an employee is like you're not bringing anything to the table, so you're being taxed the most, right? I know you're bringing your skills, your talents, but when you went to your job, was the building already there? When you went to your job, was there a customer list for you to call? When you went to your job, were the supplies needed? So the business owner is providing everything, so they get the tax break, not you. Now, the other tax system is also available for you. That's for landowners, investors, and business owners, right? And we're going to talk about that. But you got to understand that taxes are your largest expense. Most people feel that there's nothing they could do about the taxes, though. Trevor Martin, I appreciate you. Says, great show, King. Loving this subject. Louise answered the question of the day, and we're going to get her answer here in a second. So when you understand that taxes are your largest expense, don't think that you have to sit back and just watch your money float away out of your paycheck. No, there are some things that you can do as a working American to legally lower your taxes. And we went over the first three, but we're going to keep this party rolling. No, we ain't, because it is 7:19. So we might as well go ahead and break here. Y'all know at 7:20 every morning we do the 1 minute motivation. If you've never seen the Cortez Hustle Show 1 minute motivations, where I play 1 minute of one of my favorite motivational videos, and I ask that you comment one of your takeaways from that video, and then I will give my takeaways from that video as well. So we're going to do 1 minute motivation right now. I'm going to play 1 minute of this clip. You're going to give your takeaway, and then I'm going to give my takeaways from this video. So listen up and be prepared to comment your takeaway. This is 1 minute motivation on the Cortez Hustle Show.
I think your dreams deserve 5 minutes in the morning before you let the world in.
No one can live without a routine. You just forget that. If you guys don't have a routine, I would recommend, like, you get one going, because you cannot be mentally healthy without a routine. You need to pick a time to get up. Whatever time you want, but pick one and stick to it, because otherwise you dysregulate your circadian rhythms and they regulate your mood.
When you wake up each day, the first thing to do is not go to the computer. The first thing to do is go exercise, go for a walk, take a long shower. It's to open your body and engage. And in doing that process, whatever it is for you, some people it's a long run, some people it's a longer shower, some people it's a walk around the neighborhood. When you're doing that, here's what I want you to ask yourself. A couple of simple questions. First, I want you to ask yourself, what am I excited about today?
When I wake up in the morning, I spend the first 10 minutes just thanking Him. I don't even address any problems and stuff I got. I'm just grateful that I'm up for this. And I think every little thing. And I'll spend 10 minutes. And it makes your day start such a wonderful way to realize that you woke up, you're here.
You do a gratitude meditation.
Wake up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 1 minute motivation clip. What are some of your takeaways, man? For me, I really got into my morning routine here recently when I started reading the book High Performance Habits, and then I got the High Performance Habits Planner here, and I really started to understand. I've always had a morning routine, right? But it was not intentional. And when I start to understand that when you work out in the morning, it releases all of the feel-good hormones that can really power your day. It relieves so much stress when you work out in the morning. And I'm like, man, now I'm more intentional, right? I love that he said, ask, what am I excited about today? That's what I'm doing when I work out. Man, if y'all got to hear me work out, and y'all got to hear me screaming at myself in the morning, my I ams in the morning. I am the greatest digital marketing coach on the planet. I am building the biggest network marketing downline, and I am helping thousands of people transform their finances. I am making an impact on this world, right? I'm screaming that in the morning, especially when I get in my cold showers. Shout out to my coach and mentor, Henry Doris, got me taking these cold showers every morning. But when you understand what working out does for you in the morning, right? And how it sets your day, when you understand that picking a time and getting up every day sets your circadian rhythms, and that sets your mood for the day. Lakeisha says, you need a morning routine. Yeah, that was huge for me. And then Steve Harvey on the Oprah Winfrey Show, I believe, was talking about the attitude of gratitude. I do the same thing, man. I roll over, open my eyes, I see that my wife is breathing, and I just start giving thanks, man. I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful. Shabazz says, exercise help you cope with stress and figure things out. You are absolutely right. So that was 1 minute motivation here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by Monetize My Life Academy. If you are not part of a mastermind and you are trying to figure out this digital marketing, this online marketing space, then Monetize My Life Academy is the premier digital marketing mastermind for online entrepreneurs. Every month we meet and we provide a training for you. Depending on the level that you come in, you also get a course of the month. And then depending on your level, you might get also a monthly one-on-one coaching session with one of our top digital marketers as well. So all you got to do is go to monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you're interested in that, guys, you can get started for as little as $10 per month. So let me just drop that in the comments. If you want to take advantage of that. So we're continuing our discussion on 12 tax saving tips for salaried employees, or other words, wage earners. Guys, if you make your money through labor, and that's the only way that you make your money, just know that you signed up to be taxed the absolute most of anybody in this economy. And if you're single with no kids and you only make money with labor, forget about it. Uncle Sam is taking almost 40% of your income, man. And that's just income tax. Then you got to deal with sales tax. Then you got to deal with personal property tax. Then you got to deal with real estate tax if you own land. Man, it just gets ridiculous. And this is the hidden truth that most don't understand, that causes poverty in this country, right? It's the hidden truth. We look at our salary, say it's $50,000 a year, right? And we say, okay, I make $50,000 a year. I'm going to live a $50,000 lifestyle. Well, guess what? 30% of that 50,000 left your paycheck before you even got your paycheck. So now you actually got 35,000. Then another 7%, depending on your city and state, might go to state tax, right? And then another 7 to 9% goes to sales tax on everything we buy. We at 50% yet? But we're still trying to live a $50,000 a year lifestyle, but half of our 50,000 is going to Uncle Sam. Right? And that's the trick. We're trying to figure out, man, my wife used to do this all the time. She sits back and she writes down all of our bills and she writes down all our income. And she's like, something isn't giving. We should be not only making it, but we should be okay. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not factoring in taxes on all of that stuff. Right? So let's keep it moving, man. Number nine on our 12 tax saving tips for salaried employees. Number 9, give it away. Charitable contributions are deductible and they don't even have to be in cash, right? If you donated clothes, food, old sporting gear, or household items, for example, those things can lower your tax bill if they went to a bona fide charity and you got a receipt, right? I want you to think about this. Many tax softwares include modules that estimate the value of each item you donate. So make a list before you drop off the bag of stuff to the Goodwill. It could add up to big deductions, right? And this is one of the things that they've done, and they make it easy in my community. So around here, we've got these big old boxes, right? And you just bag your stuff up, and these are closed donations. So you just bag your stuff up and you just go and drop them in these boxes. But when you drop them in these boxes, you don't get a receipt. So it might be worth the extra effort to take the stuff to the Goodwill or to the Salvation Army and get a receipt, right? Now, I know, guys, that when we're being charitable, right? That's true. But for let me talk to my Christian folks out here for a second, right? There's a parable in the Bible where the Pharisees and the scribes were trying to figure out what they should do about taxes, right? And they were asking Jesus, and I'm just paraphrasing, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I know the story relatively well. They were asking Jesus, should we pay taxes? And he said, let me see the money that you use, right? And he said, hey, whose image is on that money? And they said, Caesar's. And what did Christ say? He said, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, right? If you're using Caesar's money and he has a tax on his money, then give him his taxes, right? But you know how that also can be interpreted? Render unto Caesar, that means follow the tax law. If the tax law says you have to pay taxes, then follow the tax law. But also, if the tax law says there are certain ways for you to legally lower your taxes, then you should also follow that tax law. Don't just follow the tax law that says give your taxes to the government because that's the law. Follow the whole law. Follow the law that says if I give away something to charity, I can deduct that from my taxable income. Follow that law too, right? That's all I'm saying, people. I believe that's all Christ was saying. That, hey, the law says that this is how you can manipulate, or this is how you can operate in the tax system. So take full advantage of whatever the tax system says that you can do. You should be doing it, right? Number 8, see if you're eligible for earned income tax credit, right? The rules can get complex, but if you earn less than $57,000, the earned income tax credit might be worth looking into. Depending on your income, marital status, and how many children you have, you might qualify for a tax credit of up to $7,000 in 2020 and 2021. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. Don't just go in and file your taxes and not even see if this is a deduction or a credit that you are eligible for. Listen, man, Uncle Sam wants everything he's got coming to him. And guess what? I want everything that I got coming to me, right? So if I'm qualified for earned income tax credit, then run me my credit, right? That's what I'm talking about, man. So see if you qualify, or see if you are eligible for earned tax credit, right? And I'm sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. We're going to do one more, and then I have to take a quick break, pay some bills around here so that I can keep bringing you this good content for free. Number 7, rock your HSA. If you have a high deductible healthcare plan, you may be able to lighten your tax load by contributing to a health savings account, which is a tax exempt account you can use to pay medical expenses. Contributions to HSAs are tax deductible, and the withdrawals are tax free, so long as you use them for qualified medical expenses. For 2020, if you have a self-only high deductible health coverage, you can contribute up to $3,550. For 2021, the individual coverage contribution is limited to $3,600, right? So what does all of that mean? If you have a family high deductible coverage, you can contribute up to $71 in 2021, up to $7,200 in 2022. If you're 55 years or older, you can put an extra $1,000 in your HSA. Your employer may offer an HSA, but you can also start your own account at a bank or other financial institution. Wow. So you're telling me that if I got a high deductible insurance plan, then to cover those deductions, I could be socking away money in this HSA, which is tax deductible. All the money that goes in there is tax deductible. And then when I pull that money out to pay some of my medical bills, it's tax free. Yeah. How many of you guys are using your HSA to lower your taxes? And I know they tell you the HSA, they don't really talk to you about how it the implications and the effect that it has on your taxes. But this is why you watch a show like this. This is why I gave you the link to the actual article, because it has another link that says how it works. And you can follow that link and get a full understanding, because disclaimer time again, I'm not a tax professional. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an enrolled agent, right? I have access to some though, right? I have access to some, but that's not me. That's not the purpose of this show. Is not to give you tax advice. It's to give you the information that you should be asking your tax professional, right? Now, let's see. Before we go on to number 7, before we get on to number 6, then we've got to take a quick commercial break. If you have not already smashed that share button, please do so now. If you have not already answered the question of the day, which is, what makes you feel most fulfilled? All you got to do is answer that question, but put QOTD so that we know you're responding to the question of the day. And I want to bless everybody with an opportunity to win a free vacation. And that's the way my team knows that you've answered the question of the day. Put QOTD and the answer, and then your answer, and then you get entered into a drawing to win a free vacation. So keep it locked right here on the other side of this break. We're going to run through the last 6 in the list, and then I'm going to give you the number 1 best, most effective, and most efficient way to legally lower your taxes, and you could potentially get your tax bill down to zero, but you got to keep it locked right here.
Hey, good morning, Wealth Champions. Hey, listen, if you want to be financially successful, then you have to do what financially successful people do. And I know there's a few things that all wealthy people have in common. Number one, they understand that building wealth is a team sport. Number two, they understand the power of capitalism and business enterprise. Number three, they love to use systems and leverage. And number four, they all have mentors. My name is H. Cortez, also known as Financial Health Mentor. And for the last 5 years, I've been helping hardworking Americans get all of these things in place with one single membership. If you want to learn more about that, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Again, that's myperfectmoneyplan.com. And you're going to get a team of professionals, so you're not building wealth by yourself. You're going to get a system that's going to help you transform your finances. And last but not least, you're going to get some great mentorship to help you execute your game plan. So again, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. On this show, we're talking about 12 tax-saving tips for salaried employees or wage earners. Taxes are your largest expense. Most people have never learned much about the tax system to really understand that there is something that you could do to legally lower your taxes, right? We often like to complain about the fact that wealthy people don't pay as much in taxes as everybody else. Well, you can learn the tax laws just like wealthy people. Now, wealthy people, they know them enough, but really they go and hire the best tax professionals. Well, if you can't afford to go hire the best tax professionals, then all you got to do is go to the library. All you got to do is pull out this thing right here and Google up some stuff, right? Right. My niece used to say, hey, I'm going to Google it up. Right. So we're talking about 12 of these tips. We gave you 6 of them. Let me run back and recap the 6 real quick. And we're actually getting this from an article on Nerd Wallet. If you go to scroll up in the screen, you'll see that I actually posted the link to the Nerd Wallet. What I did not do, guys, is I forgot to give you guys the link to the 1-minute motivation video. It's actually a 4-minute video. And if you guys want to go check that out, you can check it out here in the comments. I also put the link there. And then the channel that comes from is Success Addicted is the YouTube channel that today's 1-minute motivation came from. So let's recap the first 12 through 7, and then we'll run through the rest of these really quickly. So let me just collapse. All right, and collapse. All right. So when we talked about tax saving tips, we started with number 12 and we're rolling back down to number 1. And then I'm going to give you guys one that they did not list. I'm going to give you one that is really the most effective way to legally lower your taxes. So number 12 was get the timing right. Understand that there's certain things that you can do on December 31st that impacts your taxes in a way that if you waited just one more day and did it on January 1st, the timing is all off. Sell those dogs weighing down your portfolio. So if you got stock picks that aren't performing well, you can sell those, and any losses can be leveraged on future capital gains. Keep a file of your medical expenses. Depending on how much those expenses are, they could create tax deductions for you as well. Give it away. We know that charitable giving is tax deductible, but what most people don't know is that old couch that they gave to the Salvation Army, those clothes that they're giving away every time they do spring cleaning and that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, you get a receipt for that stuff. That stuff is tax deductible as well. Number 8 is see if you're eligible for earned income credit based on your income and your family structure. You could be eligible for earned income credit. Number 7 was rock your HSA. Man, if you are going to be spending money on medical and dental, start socking that money away in your HSA, right? Because up to a certain amount that you put in there, it is tax deductible and it's tax free when you pull it out, as long as you're using it for qualified medical expenses. Now, let's look at number 6. Number 6, subsidize your dependent care FSA. This FSA with a twist is another way to reduce your tax bill if your employer offers it, right? The IRS will exclude up to $5,000 of your pay that you have your employer divert to a dependent care FSA account, which means you'll avoid paying taxes on that money. That can be a huge win for parents of kids under 13, 14 in 2020 due to special rules, because before and after school care, daycare, preschool, and camps usually are allowed uses, right? Man, so you're paying for camps, you're paying for before and after care, latchkey, and all that stuff. Man, put that money in an FSA account first, and then take the money from there and pay those things. Elder care may be included too. What's covered can vary among employers, so check out your plans, documents, how it works. You guys can check that out. So that's dope. And then this one says, number 5, fund your FSA account. The IRS lets you funnel tax-free dollars directly from your paycheck into your FSA. And I don't know what FSA stands for. If someone knows that acronym, then if it's a family savings, I'm not sure. Let me see. Maybe I can look it up. FSA every year. So if your employer offers a flexible, there it is, flexible spending account, right? So you can put money into your flexible spending account. You might want to take advantage of that. It lowers your tax bill. In 2020 and 2021, the limit is $2,750. So you mean to tell me that your employer might have what's called a flexible spending account? And if you put money into that flexible spending account, it brings your taxable income down. And then as long as you're using that money on qualified expenditures like childcare, before and after care, or elderly care, then you don't have to pay taxes on that money. See, we don't understand what's going on. Most of us are spending money on daycare, childcare, before care, after care, summer camps, all of this stuff for our kids. But did we know we could be making that stuff tax deductible if we simply understood the tax laws and how to move that money around? Because that's all wealthy people do. Wealthy people just understand how to, what we call, shift their income. Shift simply means they understand how to move it around. And according to this, if you take some of your income and you have it directly deposited from your check to your flexible spending account, then that's going to lower your taxable income. And then you take that same money and you use that money to pay for daycare, elder care, before and after care, put your kid through NASA camp, right? This is what we have to understand. We need more folks given this information in a easy to digest format. This is why I do the show daily, right? You guys know the Cortez Hustle Show used to be a weekly show, but I'm like, there's so much information that needs to be disseminated and brought to people's attention that I got to do it daily. I got to do it daily, right? So Louis said, no link showing up. Can you send info to me? Absolutely. I will send it to you directly. Facebook tends to block the links, especially when you link it to YouTube. They don't like that. That's their competition, right? So number 5 is fund your flexible spending account. $2,700 a year can go into your flexible spending account, right? Let's see what they say. Number 4 is, don't forget, if you have not answered the question of the day, put in QOTD, then your answer. What is the question of the day? What makes you feel most fulfilled? What makes you feel most fulfilled? And I'll get my answer here in just a few minutes. All right. Number four on the 12 tips for tax saving tips for salaried employees. Save for college. Setting aside money for junior's tuition can shave a few bucks off your tax bill too. A popular option is to make contributions to a 529 plan, a savings account operated by a state or education institution. You can't deduct your contributions on your federal income taxes, but you might be able to on your state return if you're putting money in your state's 529 plan. Beware, too, that there may be gift tax consequences if your contributions plus any other gifts to a particular beneficiary exceed $15,000. But again, you go to how it works, and they're going to break down even further how it all works. So putting money into a 529 college plan may not lower your federal taxes, but in most states, because these are state funded plans, and the goal is to get your child to go to a state college, which in the state, which helps with state revenue, then they will let you deduct some of that off your state income tax if you're in a state like Missouri, where we do have a state income tax, right? Number three, contribute to an IRA. There are two major types of individual retirement accounts: Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs. You may be able to deduct contributions to a traditional IRA, though how much you can deduct depends on whether you or your spouse is covered by a retirement plan at work and how much you make, right? So there are some stipulations, right? For the 2020 tax year, you may not be able to deduct your contributions if you're covered by a retirement plan at work. You're married and filing jointly, and your modified adjusted gross income was $124,000 or more in 2021. That number rises to in 2021. That number rises to $125,000, right? So there are some limits and some stipulations that you got to understand. There are limits to how much you can put in the IRA to. For 2020, 2021, a limit is $6,000 or $7,000 for people 50 years or older. Right. And again, you can go to how it all works. Tell me real quick in the comments, how many of these are you actually implementing? Right? How many of these things are you doing? And for some of you guys, you might just be learning about all of these things just in general. Right? And that's fine. But 2021 is now the time for you to really, since we are early in the year, start implementing these things, man. Start implementing these things, right? Let's see. What is number two? Number two says stash money in your 401k. Less taxable income means less taxes. And 401ks are a popular way to reduce tax bills. The IRS doesn't tax what you divert directly from your paycheck into your 401k. For 2020 and 2021, you can funnel up to $19,500 per year into an account. If you're 50 years or older, you can contribute $6,500 in 2020 and 2021, an extra $6,500, right? Let's see. These retirement accounts are usually sponsored. They're usually sponsored by employers, although self-employed people can open their own 401ks as well. And if your employer matches some or all of your contributions, you'll get free money to boot. Now, that's a great option, but I'm going to share with you guys another option here in a second. And then last but not least, from their list on nerdwallet.com is number one, tweak your W-4. The W-4 is a form you give to your employer instructing it on how much to withhold from each paycheck. Now, look at that. We like to complain about what Uncle Sam is taking from our check, but we told him to take that amount based on how we completed this form. If you got a huge tax bill this year and don't want another surprise next year, raise your withholding so you owe less when it's time to file your taxes. If you got a huge refund, do the opposite. Reduce your withholdings. Otherwise, you could be needlessly living on less of your paycheck all year, right? You can change your W-4 any time of the year. right? I teach this all the time and have been for the last 5 years. And people be like, man, you can't go and mess with that stuff. You can change it any time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, the form says on the top right, top left corner, you should change it, review it once a year, and change it every time your personal or financial situation changes, right? Okay, business. All right, so those are 12 listed by NerdWallet, right? Those are some amazing tax strategies for hardworking individuals in this country. And if that's the only way you bring in income, then you should really be trying to implement as many of those things as possible. Now, here's the thing that most people are going to get tripped out about. Cortez, basically, if I'm moving money around in that way, then some of these, like if I put money into my retirement, then that means I got to live off less. Yes. Yes. You got to live off a little bit less to have a greater future, right? Yeah, you might have to live off a little bit less. But some of those things, like moving the money into a FSA account, for instance, then you can use that same FSA money to pay some of the stuff that you're already paying, like before and after care for your children. Now, before I give my answer to the question of the day, and if you have not already answered already, the question of the day is, what makes you feel most fulfilled? What makes you feel most fulfilled? Put QOTD so I know you're responding to the question of the day. You get entered into to win a drawing. Guys, I've been saying this for years, right? Integrity Wealth Solutions says taxes is the main reason I got with Jackson Hewitt to learn the tricks of the game. Been there 15 years now. Hey, man, listen, not only can you go learn the tricks of the trade, you can make you a few dollars too, right? That's another side hustle, right? The number one way to lower your taxes in this economy is for you to change teams. Cortez, what do you mean change teams, right? Right now, you are on team employee, and team employee gets taxed the most, even though there were a bunch of ways that team employee don't know that they could be using to lower their taxes. They still get taxed the most. You need to switch teams and come over here to team business owner, right? Because when you own a business, I'm just going to share with you one major difference, right, of owning a business first, and then we can talk a little bit about some other things that you could do. But watch this. We just saw on NerdWallet, let me pull up the screen, how much you can contribute to your retirement if you work a job, right? So right here, it says for 2020 and 2021, you can funnel up to, that's the limit, $19,500 into your retirement account. If you're 50 years or older, you can add an additional $6,500. Now, I've got somebody coming on the show on Wednesday who's really going to break this down for entrepreneurs. But then when we go over to another site, this is Merle Edge, right? How much does it say on this site that a business owner can put into their retirement account, right? I want y'all to see this. An employee can put $1,900. The maximum deductible contribution a business owner can make to an individual or small business 401k is $57,000 in 2020, right? Which includes your contributions as both an employee and an employer. Here's how that contribution works. Contributions as an employee are limited to $19,500, or $2,600 if you're 50 or older, because that's the catch up, right? Contributions as an employer are limited to 25% of compensation or 20% of net earnings for self-employed. So you guys got to understand that the business owner plays by a different set of rules, and it is way more lucrative for a business owner, right? Another thing that you can do, if you take your gift, talent, special ability and turn that into income, and you got kids under age 17, you can allow them to help you in your home-based business, right? You could pay them up to $12,400 per year per child, and that also becomes tax deductible. See, we talked about putting your money in an FSA account and using that for specific things. But when you pay them to work in your business, now you can use that tax deductible income to pay for everything your kid needs, right? You got to understand the economy that you live in and the rules of the game. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, but only render to him that which is due him, right? According to the tax laws, if I have a home-based business, a portion of my rent is a tax write-off because I have my office and studio in my house. Are you understanding how the tax game is played? Now, let's get to question of the day here on the Cortez Hustle Show. My response to the question of the day. The question is, what makes you feel most fulfilled? We did have some folks who were chiming in and answering the question of the day, and they will be entered into a drawing to win a free vacation. Lakeisha says that family and community makes her feel most fulfilled, right? Let's see. I think Louise also answered, what makes me feel most fulfilled is providing a legacy for my grandchildren, Alex and Alexis, right? What makes you feel most fulfilled? Guys, one of the things that makes me feel most fulfilled, I'm doing it right now, empowering other people. It's one of the things that makes me feel most fulfilled, because when you empower other people, you make an impact in their lives that you can't even quantify, right? Now, because I do this for a living, this is also how I get paid. Empowering other people allows me to make a dollar and make a difference at the same time. That dollar that I'm making, I'm using to build an empire for me and my family, a legacy for my wife and my children. That also makes me feel fulfilled. So empowering others and the fact that I get paid to empower others allows me to build an empire and leave the legacy that I want to live for my family. Speaking of which, if you are looking to add another stream of income to your household, then I want you to comment another stream. And I want to share with you some information that will allow you to partner with me in the financial education space so that we can help you get your personal finances in order and make another stream of income. So that was my response to the question of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Today, we talked about taxes, 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 guys. And one thing that I've heard, I don't follow politics all that well, but one thing that made the antenna stand up is what President Biden is talking about doing in terms of increasing taxes, right? So you got to understand, man, that the two tax codes that exist, one for business owners, one for landowners, investors, and business owners, pick a side. You can do some of the stuff that we talked about today to legally lower your taxes. But if you really, really want to lower your taxes and get your taxes close to zero, then business ownership is a way to do that. Amazon in 2018 made $11 billion, paid zero federal taxes. You made how much on your job and how much went to Uncle Sam? Yeah, you got to understand how business ownership can shift the game in your favor. Once you lower your taxes, Like when you adjust your W-4 form as a business owner, you'll get anywhere from $300 to $600 a month back into your paycheck. You take that $300 to $600 a month and you use some of it to start paying down your credit cards. Those credit card payments balances start to decrease. Your credit score goes up. You use some of that $300 to $600 a month to start investing, right? The game is different, man, when you're a business owner, landowner, or investor. And Stephen A., I see you with the another stream. You want to learn a little bit about what we do. I will share that with you after the show. But that's it, man. It is 8 o'clock. That means we are done. So I appreciate you all, man. Comment your biggest takeaways. Which one of these things are you going to use and implement in your life? Until I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.